Hello. Welcome to part 2, episode 5 of my Sew September series centered around African wax prints and fall fashion. My name is Nicole. I'm a natural hair, beauty, sewing content creator, and for the past 20 plus years, I've become an experienced seamstress, with spending the last 9 or so years specifically sewing African wax print cottons and laces. So for this video, this is the first video in the series where we're actually gonna sew something together. So I'm gonna sew two things. I'm gonna show you how to make this caftan and a similar one. And this length, right? The shorter blouse length, as well as the full length for fall fashion. I'm gonna be, so if that's something that interests you, stay tuned. Hey, you're still here. So this is the fabric I've chosen. Look, this is a fail. I wasn't patient when I tried to remove the sticker, but the good thing is, like, I could take some water and a rag and like scrub and rub that out. So it's fine. It's not a fail proof, remove the sticker. But, so I have this black 6 yards / 3 panels of this Angelina print. So I'm gonna use one panel to make the blouse, and I'm gonna use 2 panels to make like the full length dress. So I wanted to explain that to you before I get into like my close-up shots. I gotta like do a different setup so you can actually see the table as I'm cutting and sewing and things. Do you want me to put in the description my Amazon? I just got this new ring light thing from Amazon. Yeah, I'll try to remember to put that in the description box. But, so mainly to sew these two things, we're gonna need your fabric cutting scissors, you're gonna need marking chalk or pen. Gotta slow down so like I can zoom in later. So you're gonna need your fabric scissors, your marking chalk or pen. Here's an example of a pen. And I'm gonna be using my curved ruler. Yeah, because the good thing about this too is like hemming all the way around it, and then the only like curves and stuff is for the neck hole where it's a pullover style where you're gonna pull it over your head. Excuse me. And then also I will show you how to, if you wanted to make like a waist tie to go with the dress, from, not for the shirt, because we need everything for the shirt, but for the dress to be able to change up the look. So let's get into it. So this is one panel, OMG. And if you can see, and I'm gonna do a close-up, you know, as I'm editing, but even these panels, this part right here, there's actually like a little line where you can see the kind of demarcation between these two panels. So that's what I'm gonna use my fabric scissors to cut across that line. And I also need to change the orientation of my camera eventually. Just to separate away this one panel. So this, still got a sticker over here. Stick that here for now. So this is the full panel. So now I'm gonna stop and I'm gonna turn my camera. All right, much better. So for the purpose of this side is like front, this side is the back, this center part is where you're gonna be cutting out your neck hole and stuff. So what I'm gonna do with my ruler is make a clear line across here so I can easily see the front and back as I'm measuring out the neck hole. So So I'm using the design in the center as my guide, and I'm gonna do another, you know, making a grid. So now I'm gonna take this panel and fold it in half because it makes it easier to duplicate the measurement, so I don't have to measure each side if I fold it in half along this line I just made. It'll be easier to fold it in half. So I'm going to take my grid ruler. I'm sorry, I told you you'd only need what did I tell you? The curve ruler. You should use your grid ruler too. So I'm gonna use this grid ruler for the front neckline, and I'm gonna go 4 out, so it's gonna be a 4x4 neck hole. This is the line, so you can see it's the 4x4. I'm gonna mark a square that way. Then for the back, I need it to be like 2.5x4. So you can remove the ruler and you can see the front square and then the back square. And now I'm gonna go in with my curved ruler like this and draw the neck hole curve. Right, so you can see now this is the front, that's the curve, that's the back, that's the curve, and so I'm gonna cut this out. Now you can see pretty clearly where I marked. This is the front, this is the back. Right, front, back, so I'm gonna cut it now. Front to back, and so now you can see when you fold it over, the caftan taking shape. So can you see that? So this is, see the front and the back. So what I'm gonna do now is this part here. I'm gonna iron around this entire caftan, fold it under, iron it, fold it like this, and then like this. I'm gonna iron that in place and then stitch all the way around it before I worry about like finishing the neckline and things. So like I said, this is really simple, and the same thing we do for this one are going to be the same elements that we use for the longer one. And so let me go to my iron and iron this in place, and then come show you how I do the corners. Like when I'm folding it out, I finish the corners to sew. Okay, so as you can see, I have gone all the way around this and just hemmed it under with an iron. Okay, and this is the shorter side of the caftan, but I want you to focus on this corner. So to do the corner, start with this side and let it fold in on the hem. Then from this corner, fold this in to the line where the other hem is in place. Kind of gives you a good, about right there. See, like that. So fold it into here, then fold it up and up with the other hemline that you already did. And then you see how that's a nice, now neat corner. Let me get a pin to pin that into place. Okay, now let's go to the other corner. And the same kind of thing. Let's open it up and then fold this in first. Fold it in. Fold it in. Got that triangle there. Then fold it up. And fold it up. See, another nice corner. Pin that into place. And I'm just going to the other shorter end and doing the same thing. Up and up. And after we get these pinned in place, I'm just gonna stitch all the way around the hem. All right, so that's it. There's 4 corners all pinned in place. And so now I'm gonna go to the sewing machine to stitch. And the stitching for this is pretty simple. A running stitch that you just go straight around. Then when I get to the corner, I like to back tack it to make sure it's reinforced there, and then just continue to sew all the way around to it ends at the starting point, and make sure to back tack. Okay, so you can see I have sewn all the way around, finish this edge. You can see how the corners that we did turned out. And now that we've done that, we need to do something about finishing this neckline. So I got this color so you can easily see me marking on it. This is a like peach cotton lining fabric. And I'm going to show you how to make bias tape, which is going to be useful for a lot of different applications, especially when you're finishing necklines. So I'm going to take my marking pen that erases with heat, and I'm going to just mark out like a square like this. And I'm gonna make more than what I need for this top, because I'm like making it for this shirt and the other the dress that I'm making. So basically, you see the marking here, hopefully. I'm trying to get everything in camera for you all. Let me go mix up. Okay. And I'm just gonna start marking maybe from 2 inches just on the diagonal. The thing about bias tape, you mark it on the diagonal because it has more give and you want it to be able to stretch around curves. So I'm making 1 inch bias tape. So that's where this grid ruler comes in handy, being able to see through it, because it's easy to mark these 1 inch lines. This is of course a way to do it. It's not the way to do it. And we're going to do that all the way across the square. So now that all the markings are made, we can go and cut out our strips. Yay! So now that we have all these gorgeous 1 inch strips of fabric, let's sew them to each other. Start with this one and then just put one on top of the other. What you're trying to match is this corner to the end of this. I'm gonna pin it and then I'm gonna mark it diagonal to show you where you'll be stitching. Stitch it from here to there. Okay. And then when you stitch it, then it will all line up. So we did that one. So take this piece, flip it this way, lay this next piece on top of that piece with the same goal, just to make sure this corner matches a part of fabric on this corner, pin it. Mark it for you. It's be easier to keep up with where to stitch. You don't have to mark it. You can eyeball it, but you can also mark it. It takes a little more time, but you're less likely to make a mistake. Take this piece from the bottom, flip it up, do the next one. Take it from the bottom, flip it. Next piece. Just showing you how it doesn't have to exactly match up square, but you can still pin it to and put your marking, because you're going to go from this angle to this angle. And then just keep doing that till you've done all your pieces. Then after that, we're gonna take it over the machine and sew it together. All right, y'all, so I have stitched it. I have ironed the seams open and made this continuous bias tape. Now the next step is to use, I'm gonna link this Amazon store. This is like a guide to use to make the folds for the bias tape. And so you feed the bias tape through here. And it comes out the other end. Here we go. See? Like this. And so when it comes out, it's folded. And so you iron it as it comes out and keep pulling it through. And you can use this part to pull it through as you iron it into place. So that's what I'm about to go do. So this is how I start. And this is the right side of the fabric. This is the wrong side because we're gonna stitch it here, then we're gonna flip it to the inside and finish it. So I've already, you see the little grooves, that's where I pressed it to make the bias tape look. This is what it looks like after I finish ironing it with my tool. And so to start, I do a little fold. I square off the end and do a little fold in to start it, and then I'm pinning it all the way around the neckline. Pinning it to the right side of the fabric. We're halfway there. No, quarter of the way there, I guess. No, halfway. And finishing it up, so we're back to the starting point. overlap it some. Fold it back and pin that in place. And then I'm gonna stitch all the way around here, about a 1/4 inch seam. So this is what the finished neckline looks like. This is where I started and ended it. And so this is how the inside looks. And then I'll turn it inside out. Turn it inside out. Like that. So now we do the caftan part. And so take your bust measurement and your hip measurement, and depending on the difference in the two, add 10 inches to the bigger measurement. Or let's say there's a difference, you can add 10 inches to each measurement and divide it by 4 to get, you know, how far away from here you should go. So let's say my hip measurement is 50. So if I divide that by 4, that's 12.5. So that means from this center mark, then I want to mark the line about 12.5. Did I say that right? If your hips are 40 and you add 10 inches, it's 50. That's what I meant to say. So that would be 12.5. Yeah, so you would mark this 12.5 here. And let's say if your hips are 40 and your bust is 36, and so you add 10 to that, that's 46. Divide that by 4. That's like 11.5. So then from here over, you would do 11.5. So then the line that you're drawing might be a little bit diagonal for the look of your caftan. But let me show you what I'm talking about. So first of all, I know, can you sit? I'm trying to get this. Okay, camera, let's get it together. All right, so here, this is the top of your armhole. I like my armhole to be at least 12 inches down. So let's start there. So from here down, we're gonna mark 12 inches down on here. Then let me measure my bust. Okay, so from here, we're gonna go from here. So where my little caftan line is gonna be, and then for my hips, it'll be like from here to here. And then I like the bottom to be like 6 inches from the bottom is where I want it to stop. So from here, from here to here, and this is going to be my line. I'm just going to go to my sewing machine and sew it from here to here, just a straight line, back tack, and then on the same on the other side, and that'll be the end. That'll be your caftan completed. So I have pinned it from here to here on both sides to hold it in place while I go to the machine and stitch. So you can see how I did it on the other side. Pinned it from here to here, and then you will have a new caftan. Thanks so much for watching. Comment below if this video was helpful to you, if you want to give this a try, and I look forward to seeing you tag me, ABN Sewing, if you do give it a try on your socials. Thanks so much. Have a great day. Bye.